Thank you so much, Chair Castro. It is so wonderful to be with you, Ranking Member Graves, the entire committee. One of the last times I was in D.C. pre-pandemic was with you, and enjoyed around lunchtime sitting down and being able to talk to a bipartisan group of folks, really coming from a nonpartisan or tripartisan perspective from mayors. And it's great to be with my sister mayors, Lance Bottoms and Rhodes Conway. And thank you, Representative Julia Brownlee, who has just been a dear friend and a climate champion herself. Good to be with you, Jared Huffman. I know Mike Levin, too, is part of this committee, California Strong. And thank you to everybody for your service. There's never been a tougher time to serve. I'll give you another quote, Representative Graves. Somebody once asked John F. Kennedy what it was like being president. He said, "It's the best job in the world, just not right now." And I think all of us in public service feel that these are the best jobs in the world, maybe just not right now. So let's stick with it and keep serving the people together. Look, I'll cut to the chase. You know what Los Angeles, you see in the national news, how we're on the front line of this climate crisis. You see it in the fires and the wildfires, which is now not just a season of a few months, but virtually year round. You can feel it in the drought that the Chairwoman mentioned that we all are experiencing in the Western United States. You can see it in the heat that literally is taking lives. We can't forget that. Every time it gets extreme heat, we lose seniors, we lose poor folks who don't have the HVAC systems. We are seeing American lives at stake here. And so we need to survive. And I would say also we need to compete. We see a lot of gold in them there hills. There's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of innovation. I'm so proud of both houses of Congress looking at what we can do to invest in some of the key industries and artificial intelligence and semiconductors and all the things we've seen some of our competitors doing around the world. This is also a place where it isn't just about our health and survival. It's about the health and survival of our economy and our vision of whether as Americans we can be innovative. Even if you thought there wasn't a climate emergency, this would be an urgent time for us to lead in these industries, in transportation and buildings and energy. And so it's great to see a bipartisan group here really looking and listening. And I would say what we need first and foremost is the bold ambition of something like the American Jobs Program. I think a lot of people think that that's just Washington, D.C. with too much money raining down and telling local communities what to do. I see a different picture. I see actually Washington listening to what local communities are doing, states, counties, cities, regions, where they're the ones on the front lines and they're the ones who have to come up with the solutions to save lives and to save livelihoods. And, you know, it really is cities that are leading the charge in this, but we need your leadership as well. I'll give you some examples of how that partnership occurs between local communities, federal government. Our National Renewable Energy Laboratory, based in Colorado, did the first of its kind study in the world to look at how we could help Los Angeles, which owns the largest municipal utility in the country, get to 100% renewable power. 10 million scenarios using a supercomputer, some of the best scientists in the world. And the LA 100 study, which we released with the Department of Energy earlier this year, shows we can get there. And so I announced that we'd be 97% carbon free by the end of this decade and 100% by 2035, the first big city in America to do it. We couldn't do that without local dollars and national innovation and help. We're making unmatched investments in water infrastructure, as you read about the Hoover Dam and Lake Mead being at its lowest level ever, potentially. How we can recycle enough water that, if you've seen the movie Chinatown, is 3 times more than the aqueduct we built last century to steal all that water from up north. The innovation and the technology around water innovation. And the American Jobs Plan follows suit. It goes all in on drought-ready water systems, recycling, stormwater capture, groundwater storage. It goes all in on energy by helping us support grid updates and ramping up our resilience, that word that you used, Ranking Member Graves, to extreme weather events and creating a steadier flow of clean power. And in LA, we recognize that buildings, too, are the biggest emitters of greenhouse gases. And the American Jobs Plan tackles that challenge, too, making historic commitments to public schools and public housing, greener buildings everywhere. We have to look at this as an equity issue, whether it's where we plant trees for shades for that senior who can't go and get herself groceries because it's too hot, or that student, by the time she gets home, who has a headache from the heat and doesn't do her homework because she can't and drops out of school. This is about human beings, not about programs and policies. This is not just about dollars, but this is about lives. And so we're so excited to be able to be a part of this conversation. I look forward to answering all of your questions and being alongside my fellow mayors and witnesses. Thanks so much.